Hey guys, Peter Franson here from christiangeekcentral.com and Spirit Blade Productions. We're taking a look right now at Morbid, the 7 Acolytes, and I want to thank Still Running and Merge Games for providing me with digital code to review this game. This is described in part as an action RPG Souls-like. I am not a fan of Souls-like games, but some of these terms like Metroidvania, Souls-like, roguelite, they really, over time, just get used as marketing terms, and you start to lose a sense of what makes a game, in the developer's mind, this type of game, a Metroidvania, or in this case, a Souls-like. And what I saw in the preview materials for this game made me think that maybe this would not be an overly punishing, frustrating experience, that it clearly seemed to have an experience system and the ability to upgrade your character. Yes, it uses stamina for a standard dodge move here, but it doesn't take a ton away from you, from your stamina meter like some other games of this genre do. I've played a little bit of Dark Souls. That's about Dark Souls 2. That's about my experience with these types of games. Personally, I've read up on a lot of them, watched a lot of videos and stuff, and I can just tell that the genre in general is not for me. But I really wanted to see if possibly this could be a game that flirts with Souls-like or uses a number of Souls-like elements, but yet isn't as punishing as some of those games can be, and therefore may be accessible to someone like me who likes the other things that it's offering, but is not interested in being punished for playing it. I'll tell you right off the bat, I really love the art style of this game. Even though it's in kind of like the 16-bit style of, oops, this is going to be hard to talk and play this game at the same time. It's, you know, that kind of typical nostalgia play to use 16-bit-ish graphics. I think that the art design really comes through really well. I don't particularly have a love for nostalgia 16-bit graphics games, but if the art style comes through and it's an interesting art style, that's going to appeal to me. And I really love the dark Cthulhuan, or Lovecraftian, probably be a better way to say it, visual aesthetic of this game. All the monster designs, I love monster movies. And I love coming across creatures in movies or video games that I'm just like, what the crap am I looking at? And this game certainly treats me to those kinds of creatures. And like a number of games in the Souls-like genre, you have to do a bit of familiarizing yourself with enemy attack patterns so that you know when to dodge, how to get in there when they're vulnerable. And the tells on the enemies of this game are I feel like they're pretty reasonable, even for a crappy player like me to kind of figure out. Now, I just picked up some medicine pellets there. Let me talk about kind of your healing options a little bit. While I think I'm safe at the moment. See, when you pause the game, you're safe. But if you, for example, open up your menu, the game is going to continue marching along, so you need to be prepared for that. So there are different items that you can pick up. There are weapons that you pick up. It's not like a looting game primarily, so you're not going to be finding weapons all the time. You'll find weapons every once in a great while. Much more often you're going to find these consumables. This to refill my ammo. I've got a weapon, like a firearm, that I can hold down right trigger, and then like an aiming reticle shows up that I am using the right stick to position in the right spot. I find this, for my taste, to not quite be as user-friendly as I would like. I think I would... Oh, let's see, are they going to give me... No, they can't. They're not giving me the option. Some kind of a... I'm used to twin-stick shooters, and I think something about just holding down right trigger and then getting this thing to line up the right way, and then having to release right trigger. I don't know. I haven't gotten used to it yet, but I also haven't been really giving it a good try to get used to it. I've found that so far melee combat has has been sufficient in almost all circumstances. Now, I am only about 3 or so hours into the game. Normally, for first impressions reviews like this, I'll give a game a full 5 hours, but for a smaller game like this that I assume is going to have a significantly shorter runtime from your average $60 game, I really do feel like 3 hours has given me a good sense of what the basics of this game are. So let's see. Health and sanity. Sanity, you've got your health meter, which would to be expected, and then you've got a sanity meter, which is the purple bar, the vertical purple bar on the left that's hanging down from that little brain picture there. When that depletes, I'm not really clear on exactly what happens. I have noticed that some enemies will return from the dead in a purple form. Maybe that's some kind of psychological nightmare form that they're taking, so I have to kill them again. But other than that, I haven't noticed other effects of losing sanity in this game. And that's important to know because there are some things that will, at a cost, allow you to, at a cost of sanity, allow you to make faster attacks. You know, there are consumables that'll do that. Here's a consumable that adds fire to your weapon. This one regenerates sanity. You take less sanity damage for a short period of time. These are a couple of weapons that I've picked up that, like games... Like a number of games that use a stamina meter, or even like, say, Symphony-like games, like the Castlevania games styled after Symphony of the Night. Different weapons will swing at different speeds and stuff, so that's all things that you need to take into account when you're switching from one weapon to another that you find in this game. You have these runes that will give you permanent upgrades to your weapons. So far, that seems to be the main way that I'm able to upgrade... that I'm able to upgrade weapons. Like, I don't think there's any slots open on this one yet. All my slots are filled up on this one. And there are upgrade systems in the game that I've done just a little bit of reading on. The problem is you're not really, other than some basic things that you can add to your weapons in the slots that they have available, you're not really able to upgrade your character until further into the game after you've defeated the first, like, true boss in the game. There's sort of a mini-boss that I've fought, but it's not like one of the 7 acolytes that you're trying to take down. And you can't statically and permanently upgrade your own character until you've defeated that first boss. But I think that there's hope for me to be able to make it through this game if and when I can get to that point of upgrading after defeating the first acolyte, because when you die in this game, unlike many other Souls-likes, this is very forgiving. Let me show you what happens when you die. So I've got currently 4301 for my experience. You can get an idea of all the items that I have, both in my my quick access slots in the bottom left, and then also that are in my inventory. So 4301, let's see, my sanity's at 52, and I'm about to get killed here. There I go. So I hit X to rise anew, and I go back to either the last checkpoint, which would be like entering a new screen, a new area, or coming back to a shrine that you have interacted with previously. So we look, I've still got 4301 experience, all my health is back. My sanity, I don't think you ever have full sanity. I guess you default to maybe around the halfway point at best or something once you're on this terrible island that you find yourself on. But you retain all those things. And it also resets all of the enemies on the map. Once you've either died or chosen to go to one of these shrines and meditate to get all of your health back, then it resets. All the enemies respawn, with the exception of bosses, as far as I can tell, based on the one mini-boss that I have fought so far. So that means that there is a way to grind in some sense. And you are able, after you've defeated the first acolyte, to do some grinding that will eventually allow you to upgrade things like your health permanently, provided you can find the right runes and things like that. Or maybe runes, I can't remember if runes are actually used to... I think no, you just get a skill point, and I can't remember. So, like I said, I haven't personally gotten to the point of being able to statically upgrade my character, just my weapons a little bit. I like the music. I don't know if you can hear it. Let me just stop blabbing for a few seconds. So it's got this nice haunting quality to it. It's not extremely varied, but that doesn't bother me because it's atmospheric. It stays out of the way and just remains atmospheric. What does get old after a while is, for me, even just 3 hours into the game, walking back and forth to try to remember where I've been, where I still need to go. There's no option for a map that I have been able to find in this game. And so to get a sense of your bearings of, okay, have I explored this place yet? Well, if I just died, then the enemies are respawned, so that doesn't help me. Let me try and find... Actually, let me just die, because I can't remember where that shrine is, but I can get there faster if I just die. So there's no way to access... Come on, dude, do some damage. Are you just gonna... Okay, I guess only when he does his glowy things is he dangerous to me, so maybe I'll just kill him. Might as well. It's right here, just experience for the taking. These guys will do me the favor, though. Should do it pretty quick if I get in front of their tongue lashing. There we go. So it's only at these shrines that you meditate and that you can look at your quests. This seems a little bit nuts to me. Gatesglaive Kern at the Haven of Solya lets you pass if you are exalted. Okay, great. Old Fish Man in the Sea. Bring the Old Fish Man, Marlin, a bucket of worms in the Cursed Hamlet. So you really don't get much sense of direction from the very brief quest notes that you have. And those quest notes are only accessible when you're at a shrine. And so if you die in a spot after you've come back, or after you've entered a new area, you're going to come back to that checkpoint. You're not going to go back to the shrine that you were at. And so you're going to have to find your way back to that shrine just to refresh your memory on, okay, what am I doing now? What am I supposed to be doing? There is, a fast travel thing, which I guess is kind of neat. I haven't found it particularly useful because the first area, once I kind of finished the quests there was only one that I could find. There wasn't much of a reason to go back. Well, there's one that I do still have to finish somewhere around here, but anyway, that has been like the single biggest deterrent from me wanting to continue in this game, is not having the ability to just like, can I just see, how about a mini map? How about a map of just the area that I'm in? Can you just remind me, give me a sense of where the crap I am? And that is not available. The combat, I'm happy to say, is so far not that difficult even for someone like me. Yes, you do have to get used to the patterns of attack that your enemies are going to use, but for the most part, if you swing and then dodge away, you're going to be good. And that holds true for standard enemies that you run into, at least in the first 3 hours, and the one mini-boss that I've encountered. And I appreciate that. I really don't like to just be dying over and over again, and I also appreciate that I don't lose all my equipment when I die and I have to go back to the spot that I died to recover it. I don't lose my experience, you know. I think I would appreciate that more if right now I had the ability to turn my experience points and my skill points that I earn each level into some kind of an upgrade. But I think that once the ability to upgrade is unlocked, if and when I get past that first Acolyte to unlock the ability to do that, I think I could see myself seeing this game through to the end once I get to that point. Because once I'm at that point, I think I'll be able to just grind for a while if I want to, and make it more of an easygoing experience. I don't know, the jury's still way out on that. You'll want to check in with somebody who has played the entire game. But I feel like most reviews are not coming at reviewing this type of game from the perspective I'm coming from, which is I don't like Souls-likes but I kind of want to like this game. Could it be the game for me? And I think from what I'm seeing so far that there's a chance that this game could be something I'll want to see through to the end, despite not being a fan of the Souls-like genre. One thing I do find some enjoyment in that is similar to the Symphony-like Castlevania-style games that I enjoy is the push your luck element. You know, every time you enter a new screen area, then you get a checkpoint, and you're going to be able to come back to that point with all your experience and none of your loot lost if you die. So, checkpoints like that, finding shrines, that's a big deal in this game. So you might think that, well, what do you need health restoring items for if you could just keep respawning? Well, it's because those checkpoints and shrines are kind of few and far between. And so one reason that you're going to want to find, say, this item here, Disgusting Gruel, is because that's a restorative health item. Now, I can only carry 10 of those at a time, so I can't just grind to have 99 of those and be able to brute force my way through any encounter. They also fill up my health pretty slowly if I activate it here. Then it stays active for 10 seconds and slowly fills up my health during that time, but it's not something I can spam to get myself out of a boss fight and just button mash my way through. But even so, there are a few fairly predictable places that you can find Disgusting Gruel, which means that you can, to some degree, grind for those as a restorative item, and then that's going to help you as you're maybe prepping for a longer exploratory trek through a new map area that you've discovered. An element introduced very early on is a rudimentary stealth mechanic where you can sneak up on enemies. Now, I won't be able to sneak up on this guy, I don't think. He's going to see me. But I did get in my most powerful attack. If you can sneak up, you hold down the left trigger, and that kind of zooms the camera in. I could probably sneak up on this guy. And then you're better positioned to use your stronger, more powerful, and slower attack to get a number of enemies in one hit that would ordinarily take more than one of your regular, quicker attack. So I like that as an element. I wasn't expecting there to be any kind of a stealth mechanic in a game like this that's more of an indie game and that has these Souls-like elements to it. So the difficulty is not, in my experience so far, so much about, oh, I gotta memorize this dumb monster's attack patterns and dodge at just the right time, I gotta do things just the way the game wants me to do it, you know. Instead, the difficulty, if I want to call it that, has been more about trying to figure out, okay, what am I supposed to do next? Where am I supposed to go? You know? And I just lose patience with that. When I both lack the ability to access a map at any time, and when I lack the ability to access a quest log, aside from when I'm at shrines, it just sucks my interest from trying to go anywhere, because I could end up backtracking for no reason and wasting a bunch of time. And, you know, you could say, well, yeah, at least you can kill enemies and gain XP along the way. Well, yes, but as I said, this early in the game, I don't have the ability to spend that XP. And so I can build up my reserves of consumable items that are helpful, but I don't feel the sense of progression that I really want to feel when I'm playing an RPG of any type, be it action RPG or a more turn-based exploratory type of RPG. So unfortunately, because of the things that are not quite what I would like them to be, I don't think this game is going to really call out to me when competing with the other games in my library that I haven't finished or that I'm enjoying playing again or whatever. That said, I suspect this will be a game that every once in a while I'll say, let's see if we can get a little further in that, play it for a little bit and put it down, and then once I hit that point where I'm able to more easily upgrade, and where I'm at the point where gaining levels actually does have an immediate effect on the growth and development of my character, then I think the game has a chance of hooking me suddenly at that point and motivating me to and enticing me to finish it out. But it's a shame that that option is not available until a little bit later into the game, because right now it's kind of putting me off and I'm not feeling motivated to explore and to push myself further into this world, which, by the way, I love this world. Look at this weird creature. What is this? Some kind of like just pile of bones and some pumping organs still attached to it. I mean, that is totally my kind of disgusting gore monster jam. And the haunting music, the drab color palette. I mean, aesthetically, there are some things that I'm really digging about this game, and I just wish that the gameplay was a bit more my cup of tea. Now, as far as themes go, you know, this game is drawing inspiration from Lovecraftian horror and from like 80s gore horror and stuff. I think with Lovecraftian stuff, there can be some interesting potential comparisons to God, because the idea of Lovecraft's cosmic horror is that there is one or more great, powerful beings that are presiding over the universe, but they are not loving and benevolent. They are horrifically evil and will ultimately doom us to a nightmarish existence that goes on forever. And so I think when you're dealing with that kind of theme, there is opportunity, whether you're, well, if you're a believer, to reflect on the differences between that perspective and the perspective we have because of the promises that Jesus gives to us. You know, that can be a valuable compare and contrast kind of mental experience. And given that you are hunting down these beings called Acolytes, there may be, although I haven't really gotten deep enough to see this yet, there may be some kind of a subtle commentary on religion or organized religion, or maybe Catholicism, as is most often the case when there's religious commentary happening in games, particularly fantasy games. So, you know, I'll be keeping my eyes open for that kind of thing as I go further into the game. It's an interesting choice of concept to have an acolyte, this, you know, kind of religious institution type of figure, be the enemies in the game. But sometimes the trappings like that, the aesthetic, like the trappings like these religious iconography type things, are more tropes than they are any attempt at making a commentary, and that could very well be the case here. And thirdly, you know, as a Christian, you might look at a game like this and see all these horror, these dark horror elements, and wonder, I mean, what does God think of us playing games like this, interacting with this kind of fiction? And for that, I would recommend that you go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/christiangeekcentral, and just type in the word horror in the search field. There's at least one, maybe two or more videos that I've put up over the years that deal with that topic. Another one that by the title wouldn't sound like it's related, but actually is in terms of its content, is Can Christians Be Evil in Games? And so you can check out both of those on our YouTube channel to explore the idea of whether or not Christians can or should be engaging in entertainment that has really dark themes like this one does. Man, I am not dodging well. Anyway, that's all I have for some first impressions. I would love to get your thoughts in the comments below. And then I hope you'll join us soon over at christiangeekcentral.com as we continue to geek out and seek the truth.